It was 1995 when I first got the 3DO. I was used to playing games such as Ninja Gaiden and Contra on NES, or Final Fantasy VI and Star Fox for SNES. I was lucky enough to be the cool kid that had 3DO when everyone else was still enjoying the likes of Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis. Wing Commander 3 was one of my main reasons for wanting to own a 3DO. Wing Commander comes from the mind of Chris Roberts, well known from the PC flight sim genre, for games such as Strike Commander and Privateer. Playing a game like Wing Commander 3 back then was a dream come true. Finally, games were not just considered unrealistic child's toys. They were starting to be recognized as an art form along with film and music. Like any Hollywood film, Wing Commander delivered a star-studded lineup of well-known actors such as Mark Hamill as the main character Colonel Christopher Blair.
Isn't that the guy from Star Wars?
Malcolm McDowell as the snooty Admiral Tolwyn. John Rhys-Davies as Blair's longtime co-pilot and friend Paladin, and the hilarious Tom Wilson as the cocky pilot Maniac, well known for his role in Back to the Future as Biff.
Hello? Hello? Anybody home?
Oh.
Think, McFly. Think.
Even Francois Chow of Lost fame is in the game as the loner pilot Vagabond. I didn't even realize it was him till around the 5th season of Lost. This shot up the awesome factor of Wing Commander 3 to new heights. The story begins as Blair's love interest and former wingmate Angel Devereaux is in captivity on the homeworld of the evil race of felines known as the Kilrathi. Then flashes forward to a grim scene on the planet Vespis, where Blair and Paladin inspect the crashed remains of the carrier TCS Concordia. The war between the Confederation and the Kilrathi had been waged for decades when Blair is transferred to the TCS Victory, another Confederation carrier ship, where he's to take up the role as the new Wing Commander and try to turn the war effort in favor of the Confederation. The story is told through live-action FMV cutscenes, shot against green screen backgrounds, which still hold up well today, with fine acting due to the talented actors involved. You quickly get familiar with your crew on arrival, build relationships with them, loyalties are betrayed, and see some of them die either by mandatory storyline sequences or failing to protect them in combat. Blair's motivation is driven by wanting to find out the fate of his lover and former comrade Angel. There are plenty of twists and turns to keep you engrossed in the story. There's also plenty of comedic moments to break up the drama.
And if you lose, you won't be too popular around here, so I'm gonna give you a word of advice, Colonel. Kick the little twerp's ass.
Yes, sir.
And even the choice of two love interests that lead to Blair getting a kiss. The story builds to an epic conclusion that you would expect from any space opera such as Star Wars. This was one of the few games where the ending didn't leave me in the least bit disappointed. The structure of the game works like this. You can roam around the ship talking to various crew members and pilots between missions, sometimes allowing you to make a choice of what to say next, usually positively or negatively, which has an effect on your pilot's morale and willingness to help you out during a mission. This can also directly affect the story, such as winning a bet against the show-off test pilot Flash, forcing him to join your ranks aboard the Victory.
This punk's not worth it. Time to teach this punk a lesson.
On one condition. If you lose, you put in for a transfer to combat pilot status aboard the Victory.
If that'll make you feel better. I'd ask you to shine my shoes if I win, but I like my shoes too much.
Or deciding to ground an unruly pilot who has gone rogue.
Read to us from the regs manuals. I know there are certain actions necessary.
Give her a break. Ground her.
If every pilot pursues a private war, the Kilrathi triumph. Until further notice, you're grounded.
After these interludes, you report to the briefing room to get your current mission assignment. Choose which pilot you want on your wing. Then configure your ship by talking to one of the female love interests of the game, Chief Tech Rachel Corey Ellis. There are a number of distinct ships in the TCS Victory's arsenal, ranging from the fast fighter called the Arrow, which is good for dogfighting, to the bulky and slow-moving longbow with its large payload of torpedoes and mines, good for taking out capital ships with ease.
Your comrade has been obliterated. Now you're on your own turn.
There's also a prototype ship called the Excalibur that isn't available till later on when Flash arrives aboard the Victory. This is easily the most badass ship in the game. You will be itching to test it out. You can use different combinations of energy weapons, or combine them all for a full setting, which drains your energy faster, but causes more damage. There are also a variety of missiles to choose from, ranging anywhere from fire and forget, rear lock-on heat seekers, or more powerful ones such as the dumbfires and torpedoes, used for taking out the huge capital ships. There are simple objectives such as going on patrol routes, taking on Kilrathi fighters, and capital ships, ranging from nearly defenseless cargo transports to huge warships that can take tons of damage and dish it out even more. There are also more important missions such as thwarting an attempt by the Kilrathi to spread a bioweapon over an entire planet, or rescuing a scientist needed to build the Confederation a new superweapon. You can communicate to your wingmates with a handy radio system, giving them orders to break an attack a specific target, or request clearance to land after a mission.
Need clearance, TCS Victory.
Wow. Gives new meaning to Big Bang, don't it, girl? You're cleared to land because we're heading out of here and we're putting this bucket to kill.
You may also send out hilarious taunts to the Kilrathi craft, causing them to attack you in anger rather than your wingmates.
Don't they teach you critters how to fly?
The controls for the game on the standard 3DO controller can be a bit confusing. Since this is a port of a PC game, many of the functions are mapped to button combinations that can make a beginner's head spin. However, you can definitely adjust to it after a little while. Soon you'll be roaring through space, taking out Kilrathi craft, issuing orders to wingmen, and avoiding missile locks using chaff. The aiming is pretty stiff with the D-pad. However, the game supports the 3DO flight stick for smooth analog aiming. Unlike most games, failing a mission doesn't always mean the end. When you fail, you sometimes take another path through the story that leads to entirely new missions. Longtime Wing Commander fans will tell you the fun from this series comes from searching for all the alternate routes you can find by failing certain missions. However, fail too many, and your war with the Kilrathi will come to an abrupt end.
At last we meet face to face. The heart of the tiger.
You'll never truly conquer Earth, you know. Not before you have to destroy it.
We shall grant you the opportunity to plead for your miserable life.
Not begging for mercy from this furball. Screw you.
For you, heart of the tiger, a warrior's death.
doom Earth to be enslaved by the Kilrathi. Succeed, and you may be taking the fight to the Kilrathi homeworld itself. The presentation of this game was excellent for its time. I thought Star Fox, with its Super FX polygons, was like virtual reality on the Super Nintendo just 2 years prior. However, seeing Wing Commander 3 with its huge open space, textured map 3D ships, and Hollywood-style cutscenes just blew away anything I had played before. It was an especially nice touch seeing the capital ships erupt into a massive fireball, with a white flash blinding your view for a moment. The cockpit of each different ship was individually rendered, and it shows with the great attention to detail at the time that the game came out. The sound effects were equally impressive, each laser having its own unique sound, the countless amounts of dialogue during a mission, and the roar of your ship kicking in its afterburners, all presented in a nice Dolby surround sound. The music in Wing Commander 3 is also very well done. It sets the mood perfectly for each scene and is very memorable. The game's shipped on 4 discs, which must be noted the 3DO version contained a few extra scenes not in the PC version, which explains more about a character's motivations during a key moment in the story. The 3DO version also had full-color video clips for the radio transmissions, where these were presented in monochrome color on PC. Even the later port of Wing Commander 3 on PlayStation 1 was worse quality, having only mono sound to make all the cutscenes fit. I couldn't get enough of Wing Commander 3 back in the day, and easily beat the game over 30 times. I still come back to it every so often to this day. I would definitely put this game up there with greats such as Super Metroid, Final Fantasy VI, Metal Gear Solid, and Panzer Dragoon Saga. Playing this game at a young age made you feel like you were living in that universe, as a courageous pilot fighting an evil alien race. If you do not own a 3DO, I recommend trying to play this any way you can, whether on PC or even PlayStation. This game must be experienced for any flight simulator fan, or someone who just wants an awesome sci-fi adventure with lots of action and great acting. I just hope we can see future installments of this series on current generation consoles, with HD graphics, Blu-ray quality FMVs, not to mention the return of Mark Hamill to the series, possibly whining about power converters, Biggs casted as his wingman, not having a sister as his love interest, and minus the helmet hair he had through the entire Star Wars trilogy. Just kidding, Mark. I still love you.